You stumble in the dark. You kept pushing on, but then you went too far. When your ship has sailed and all your dreams are lost, everything is wrong, you feel like it's your fault. Just remember, I will be there for you, baby. Remember, there's nothing out there to get you, don't forget it. When life feels lemons, just call me. Just call me. Just call me. Just call me. You're stronger now than you ever been. You gotta leave now, it's time to catch the wind. You will climb up high and look through the clouds. And when you're feeling low, I know you'll bounce back. Oh, and just remember, I will be there for you, baby. Remember, there's nothing out there to get you, don't forget it. When life throws lemons, just call me. Just call me. Just call me. Just call me.
After an amazing race at Vegas last week, Greg Marconi punches his ticket into the round of 8, and there's a lot of uphill battles that need to be fought for the remainder of the top 12. Tonight, we come to the biggest super speedway that we will visit all season, the 2.6 miles of Talladega. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Rowdy Energy Cup Series. Round of 12, race number 2. Tony Trapasso up in the booth, joined with me by my partner in crime, Cliff. And again, help me with your last name because I know I'm going to screw this up.
Corvo, sir, and thank you. Happy to be here at Talladega. It's going to be a beautiful day, exciting race.
Absolutely. And we do need to make a quick note that August is Breast Cancer Awareness Month and Domestic Violence Awareness Month. So you're probably going to be seeing a lot of pink and a lot of purple in the field tonight. And that is, you know, the driver's way of being able to bring awareness to those amazing causes. But, you know, we'll take a quick gander at the weather here as you would expect for Talladega, Alabama, 82-degree ambient air temperature. 127-degree track temperature. Now, those of you who are familiar with the Rowdy Energy Cup Series, you might notice that we're in a little bit of a different car tonight, and that was because the league management decided that because of the unfriendly aero package on the super speedways, they decided to do a car change. The drivers had plenty of time to prepare, practice, and so on. So no real big thing there. But like I mentioned, Cliff, that point standings is just hot and heavy right now, with the only one guaranteed into the round of 8 being Greg Marconi.
And Marconi's got that top spot. A lot of drivers are going to be chasing him. We were looking at it right before the broadcast here. 3 drivers tied for 7th, and then another 3 tied for 10th. It's a tight battle right there at the line. This being Talladega, some call it a wild card. But I want to go back to the cars just a second, Tony. What's that going to mean for the racing? Are we going to see better racing? Obviously, they did it for a reason, but what is the reason?
Well, the aero package currently on the air quote next gen that we have been using for the majority of the season, when you get to the plate tracks like Talladega and Daytona, the current aero package that iRacing has given the car, you better have some help if you decide to swing out of the freight train. And I don't mean just one car. You better have like 3 or 4 willing to go with you, or else as soon as you swing out of that freight train, you're going to the tail end of the field and going there in a hurry. Whereas the car that we're using tonight, those of you who have followed the Circle B Diecast Super Speedway Series that we broadcast on Friday nights, this particular car has led to some of the best racing all season long. And the league management looked at that series to give them an idea of which direction to go into for this week. As qualifying, getting ready to roll out right now, looks like Connor Trafari in the 9, going to be the first one to roll it. And you can see the pink on Trafari's car tonight. Again, Breast Cancer Awareness Month. These drivers doing anything they can to bring awareness to the cause.
Yeah, I'm excited to see the pink. October is not only a great month up here in the Northeast with all the colors changing where I am, but you get Breast Cancer Awareness Month, and it makes a lot of fun paint schemes to come out, and artists really get to shine with that pink brush.
Absolutely, and being as it's Domestic Violence Awareness Month, we also get to see some purple being thrown out there. Slightly different qualifying than we normally would see. They're only going to get one flying lap as Trafari brings it down through the tri-oval. Now, the biggest thing to remember about this track is the start-finish line is actually just past the exit of pit road. So Trafari going to be the first one to go on his flyer. We've got Joe Gautier, Mark McFadden, Ryan Decker, and Chris Worrell out on track right now, as well as a brand new face to the league. That's going to be the 03 of Latham Joyner, who is joining the league for the first time tonight. As nice tidy lap for Trafari, bringing it down the back straightaway in that beautifully prepared black and pink number 9. And you see him right down on that yellow line, just where you really want to be to, make the most of this opening lap. You saw him take the long way around on his out lap to try to get that car wound up. Little bit sideways coming off of that transition, but that is going to be provisional P1. Chris Worrell in the Balls Energy number 06, dropping vastly, as looks like Latham Joyner going second quick so far. Ryan Decker in the 28 jumps up to second quick with a wow, that's not that far off. So good times there for Decker. Just waiting on who else. We got McFadden out on track in the 5, getting ready to come through the tri-oval to complete his qualifying attempt. As, again, he uses the apron to try to make this track as short as possible. That's going to put the number 5, it's like 5th quick. And returning to the league, Nick Kessler. Wow, that is a sharp-looking Supra.
I really like that car. Talk
Absolutely,
about, spreading that pink paint.
Absolutely, that those white flames really play on that purple. Kessler jumps up to 5th quick as Greg Marconi rolling it, and that is a tribute scheme by Marconi. And if we get a chance to talk with him after the race, we're going to find out the reasoning behind the pink rose on the hood of the number 12 Ford Mustang tonight. As you can see him right up near that safer barrier on his outlap, just trying to make that outlap as long as he possibly can, because these cars are so momentum based and you only get one shot at qualifying. You see him bring it down there, using the banking to try to gain a little speed coming through the tri-oval, getting it really wound up and hugging that yellow line. Another car out on track right now on his outlap trying to get up to speed is going to be the 48 of Javon Cherry, the driver who won the most races during the regular season. Was not at Vegas last week, nor was Kessler. So those guys are kind of behind the 8 ball right now, as Kessler is just out of a transfer spot with that tie for 10th. Marconi bringing it down, real tidy lap right on that yellow line, coming through 3 and 4, full head of steam, as doesn't look like he's going to be the fastest car, as he's green in both sectors so far, and qualifying runs out. So only 7 drivers actually able to post a time. And pretty tight qualifying, Cliff.
Yeah, that was well, it's definitely going to be a tight qualifying. As you know, it's super speedway. So the times are going to be close, but especially close. These guys are real tight as they start to grid up.
Absolutely. The 9 of Connor Trafari, he's going to be joined on the front row with Ryan Decker. Series debutant Latham Joyner going to be joined in row number 2 with Joe Gautier. Mark McFadden going to be rolling off from the number 5 spot in the number 5. He's going to be joined in row 3 with Nick Kessler. And then we have Ryan Worrell in the 06, or the 6 on the side of that car. Worrell was the last driver to actually post a time in qualifying. He's going to be joined with the 48 of Javon Cherry. Cliff?
Yeah, Brandon Lowe's is going to take the 9th position with Yishan Dura. I'm hoping I'm saying that right, in the 10th spot.
Zisandura.
All right. Brandon Wilson's going to take the 11th spot with Greg Marconi taking that 12th spot. 13th is going to go to Ryan Worley. And Nicholas Wing's going to take that 14th spot. Shane Newens is going to take 15th. And Jason Papp looks like he's going to take the 16th spot and the final spot in the field. Hoping to avoid those wrecks back there.
As he normally does, Papp likes to start at the back. And when he is able to get a qualifying attempt in, you'll see him normally give himself an EOL. But a lot of sharp-looking cars here tonight. Again, a lot of breast cancer awareness cars, some domestic violence awareness paint schemes going on right now. And with the point standings as tight as it is, a lot of these guys are in a do or die situation. And I know you and I were talking before we went live. Wouldn't it be something if Greg Marconi were to steal the race here tonight and make it absolutely do or die next week, going into the Roval? That's right, ladies and gentlemen. Next week we are at Charlotte Motor Speedway on the Roval, and we're cutting heads next week. So You want to talk about wild card races? Dega and the Roval back to back. Good luck, boys.
Yeah, that's not going to be easy, and cutting down to the top 8 after the Roval, you really got to know your stuff. And hey, that's the way to win a championship, right? You got to know how to race all these different types of tracks, short tracks, super speedways, road courses. You want to be crowned the champion, you gotta be good at all these types of tracks. So I'm excited about that. It's definitely a wrench. You could even say it's 2 wrenches in the spokes of the playoffs. So good luck to these guys, and hats off for throwing a Roval into a playoff situation.
Well, absolutely. But the other thing to keep in mind too, it's not necessarily a wrench if you're Greg Marconi, who got the win out of the way next week to really punch his ticket into the round of 8. It's more like a baseball card in the spokes for him right now.
Yeah, he's loving the sound of that.
Oh, absolutely. No pressure here tonight. And if it's going to be Greg Marconi, chances are he's going to do what he can to try to help one of his 2 teammates get into that, or one of his teammates, 3 teammates, to get into that next round, as Jason Papp is still on the verge of being eliminated. You also have Brandon Wilson in the 501. Those 2 guys are on Dudes Racing with Marconi, as well as Ryan Worrell, or Ryan Worley. But, Worley has relinquished his stake in the round of 12 because he's not possibly going to be able to make the rest of the races. As the pace truck goes on to pit road, Trafari going to have the button as the field works its way through the tri-oval, getting ready to take the green flag. The only thing you're going to do is wipe the visor, give a tug on the 5-point safety harness, and race fans, it's showtime!
Green flag will fly. They'll cross the line. They'll stay tight at Talladega. They're going to stay nose to tail, bumper to bumper, just about this entire race. And it is going to be exciting.
Kessler jumps way up to the 3rd lane to try to relinquish some spots as Joe Gautier looks to make it 3 wide down the back straightaway. Tafari getting a great push right now from series debutant Liam Joyner at the front of this thing, though. And it's Ryan Decker trying to get hooked up with, I believe that's Javon Cherry in his rearview mirror. Yes, it is. And no big surprise here. Here comes the Chris Worrell trying to make a move for 3rd, getting around Mark McFadden.
These guys are bunched up towards the front top 5, and then they're starting to spread out just a little bit behind them. Wonder if they're just playing it cautious on that gas pedal, or if they're just kind of hanging back there waiting for this one to play out. Got 90 laps here today at this giant super speedway. It's going to be a long day. Playing it smart back there in the back, I think.
Absolutely. They know how these races can go. It sometimes gets a little bit chippy, and we've got a wild card within a wild card here at Talladega. Series debutant Latham Joyner making his first start with the league, and right now he's getting a great push from Chris Worrell, who we know from the Friday night series is one of the best pushers in the entirety of the iRacing East. Go ahead.
Yeah, I was saying he's pushing him, and then he made a decision to take that top line.
Well, he saw Trafari coming, and Worrell's not a stupid man, so he knew to go up there and throw that block. Unfortunately, he does not have a lot of help tonight. Normally on a Friday night, there's 4, 5, and 6 of those Balls Garana or Balls Out racing cars. Right now, Worrell rocking the Balls Garana energy drinks livery all by his lonesome here tonight. As
Jason Papp's going to try to make that 3rd line work.
Absolutely. He's got his teammate in tow. That's Brandon Wilson. We know those guys work together, and that's Greg Marconi with them. Like I said earlier, look for Marconi to try to help one of his 2 teammates, if possible, get that transfer spot tonight. That way they don't have to screw around at the Roval next week, as Worrell continues to lead this thing. Now, those are the teammates, Trafari and Cherry, trying to make something, or I'm sorry, that's Decker's team. Cherry is Decker's teammate. I had that confused. I do apologize.
Oh, shuffling up behind.
Yeesh.
We got 3 lines now.
That was Pap going into the wall, coming off a 2. So Pap working with Worrell right now. But up at the front, you've got Javon Cherry trying to help that second lane with Connor Jafari leading the second lane. And then behind them, that looks like, I believe that's Zishan Dura in the 10. As Decker throws it way to the high side. Wonder if he and Javon Cherry can get hooked up. Those two guys are teammates. But Zishan Dura in the 10 trying to get to his teammate's back bumper, as those two guys we have seen work together so well on Friday nights. As right now, Jafari with a head of steam through the 3-4 complex. Latham Joyner and Mark McFadden working well together on that low line. And there is Dura in the low line as well. And he's got his teammate, Nick Kessler, Dura, Kessler, and Trafari all representing Nick Kessler Motorsports. So if the three of those guys get hooked up, it's going to spell trouble for the rest of the field.
That 48 is going to get stuck in the middle here and get left behind. Brandon Lowe's jumped up to the 3rd line and got a 3rd lane going, and wow, we spread out up front. What is going on? Coming down the backstretch, they get spread out 4 or 5 wide. They're going to get back onto the racing surface and line back up here. But man, they got something must have went down up front. Someone got a little bit of a wiggle and spread everybody out. And they're going to have to get gathered back up here. The 4's leading that 3rd line now, but they're a little ways back. That's Nick Kessler in the 4. The 1 and the 6 continue to lead. Jason Papp to the front. Got Worrell right behind him. Another 2-car tandem right behind them with the Brandon Lowe's and Latham Joyner, 25 and the 03. And now they'll start to get lined up again, but man, these guys don't like to stay in line, do they?
Absolutely not. But I just realized Worrell does have a teammate here. That is the 25 of Brandon Lowe's. And we've seen those guys work very well together on Friday nights. As right now, Latham Joyner pushing the daylights out of the Canadian in that second lane. And Joyner jumps down in front of Pap. Wow, that was a ballsy move going into 3.
Yeah, I don't expect that to be the last one of its kind, though. These guys are really racy, and we expect them to be here at Talladega. I'm glad they're not sitting around. These guys are going 2-3 wide. They're jockeying for position. They're getting all spread out. They're fighting out there. So this is not just sit down and relax and ride around Talladega. These guys are on the wheel. And it's a hot, slick day as well. So I'm sure these cars are sliding around just a bit and are sure to be a handful. But I'm surprised this 3rd line has been working pretty well. Go ahead.
Well, I was going to say, now, we're only doing 90 laps. And they do have 1 fast repair in their pocket, being as it's Talladega. But the one thing to keep in mind, 5 sets of tires. They're probably not going to use all 5 sets because, Cliff, I'm sure you know as well as I do that, tire wear is pretty negligible here. You could probably get 50 or so laps easily out of a set of tires, and then throw 2 on to get you to the end of the race. As it looks like give that lap to Javon Cherry, all important bonus point, as Cherry coming into tonight was 4th in points. And moving forward, every bonus point counts.
With it being so tight, you can't stress it enough how important they are. If you're tied, 3-way tie for 7th, and essentially the rest of the playoff drivers.
On the apron. Jason Papp was on the apron going into 3. I didn't mean to interrupt, but
no worries.
Could have ended poorly.
Yeah, it looks like he got it gathered back up. He's towards the back of the field now. He'll have to work his way through it, but he'll suck up behind the 6 there, who looks like he also fell back. Worrell and Papp were both up front just a moment ago. So they'll probably get together and work their way back towards the front, but they've got some traffic to get through.
Absolutely. Now, the other thing to keep in mind, we're using a full fuel fill tonight, so 100% fuel, which means we're probably looking right around lap 30 to 35 before these guys are going to have to come in for a tank and go fast. So essentially, we're looking at a 2-stop race tonight. As Nick Kessler to the point, getting his daylight shoved out of him by Ryan Decker on that low line. Zishan Dura about to get stuck in the sucker hole in the number 10. He's going to be dropping back to about 6.
The top 6 cars are in line, single file. We've got a 2-car tandem trying to make that top line work. But pretty much single file racing towards the front. But as I say that, we come down the backstretch and these guys start to spread out. It looks like they're moving all around the backstretch, kind of breaking up that draft and probably getting a little bit of air into the nose of the cars and then jumping back at it, you know, as they come around through 3 and 4 and down the front stretch. It's just a little bit of a trend I'm seeing. I'm wondering if it's to get air or if it's kind of just to break up that draft. But it seems like they come down the backstretch, they really fan out, but jump right back into it. So real interesting to see as the 10 almost gets lost out there.
Well, Dura in the 10 was working with the 67 Agatier, give the lap to Gatier, but when the 3 of Latham jumped up there, you know, Gatier had a run, and Latham just threw the block out of nowhere in the middle of the dogleg on the front stretch. And that almost spelled trouble because that was at the front of the field. As looks like McFadden bailing out, going down the back straightaway, not happy with what he was seeing. As the low lane looks like Pap and, or no, that is Gautier and the number 4 of Kessler trying to make something happen. But right now, Zishan Dura in the 10 with the nose out front, getting pushed by Chris Worrell. Coming out of the dog leg drag race, give that lap to Dura.
And they are 3 wide up here for the lead. 2-car tandems, 3 wide. The 4 will push the 67 up, and the 4 will jump to the middle lane. And these guys are enjoying being up front. And it's like the
Joe Gatti in the 67 calling no moss going down the back straightaway. Wasn't happy with all the weird moves he was seeing. Now, Gautier has won here in this car during the Friday night portion of the Circle B Diecast Super Speedway Series brought to you by the iRacing East Series. So he's no dummy when it comes to plate racing, as right now we got a couple of aces on that high lane as Jason Papp in the 1 and the 28 of Ryan Decker trying to make something happen, but they're going to need more help if they're going to make some headway. As battle for the lead, as that's Chris Worrell and Nick Kessler bringing Zishan Dura with them. Now, Dura and Kessler are on the same team, so they're in the same TeamSpeak chat, or a Discord chat, talking back and forth like, hey, if I go, will you? Yes, absolutely. And not too far behind him is their third teammate, Connor Trafari, in that black and pink number 9.
4 will dive down. Nick Kessler in front of the 6 of Worrell to grab that low line away from that 2-car tandem team. The 3 is trailing behind, and it looks like that bottom line is going to be the way to go for now. I'm noticing when these guys get linked up, 2-car tandems, they really get up there and they can run 3 wide side by side, which is pretty impressive.
That's the beauty of the cars they're using tonight, is the bumpers line up perfectly, so you can slam draft in these cars and not really have to worry about turning whoever's in front of you. The other thing to keep in mind is as the tires wear out, that second lane is going to become a little bit more desirable. So once we get through the first fuel stop and close to the second fuel stop, that's where you're really going to see that second lane come into its own.
Well, forget the second lane. That third lane has got a 5-car team up top. It looks like they forgot about the middle of the track that time by, as we've got Well, we got one car now jumping into the middle there, but we had a 5-car line on the bottom and a 5-car line way up at the top. So these guys are starting to move around and try some different things. Not much of a middle line that last time by, but hey, what do I know? What am I talking about? As the 50 here and the 67 Agati are working that middle line, and they've got friends now.
Yeah, it's actually the 501 of Brandon Wilson.
Oh, thank you,
So
sir.
Dudes Racing working with Nerditudes right now. Plus they've got a balls out car, another Dudes Racing, actually two Dudes Racing cars working that second lane. So those two teams, or three teams, have worked well together in the past. As looks like Trafari trying to join them in the tail end of that one. As Gautier swings out to the third lane coming through the tri-oval. No real change up in front as Kessler, Joyner, and Dura continue to show the way with Mark McFadden and Ryan Decker in top.
At top 4 cars, ooh, the 10's getting real swirly there in third place. Top 4 cars single filed and they're 2x2 the rest of the way back as they come down the backstretch of lap 17 here. Another car shoving out to the bottom there, probably getting some air into the engine, cooling that engine off. And jumping right back in.
The 90 of Nick Wing jumping back up in front of the 48 of Javon Cherry. I got to think Cherry right now and his teammate Brandon Lowe's in the 25. Those two guys are kind of in the catbird seat because they're just far enough back that should all hell break loose at the front of this thing. As Brandon Wilson with a nose out front coming through the tri-oval, give the bonus point to the 501 for leading the lap. And he immediately drops down to block off Kessler, who looked like he might be starting to get a run going into one.
Yeah, Brandon Wilson will jump down. He's in front of the 4, Nick Kessler. He'll lead that lap. And thank you for pointing out that is the 501. That's my mistake. That is not a 50 car. But a very bright and vibrant car nonetheless. He's going to get a push from the 4. The 6 and 1 are back to the front here. That's Jason Papp and Chris Worrell. We saw them leading earlier, dropped back to the back, and here they are. Work their way through all that traffic right back to the front. They're side by side for the lead once again.
Absolutely. Worrell and Papp trying to get that outside lane to work. They've got Decker and Marconi with them. Drag race to the line, give the lap to Wilson again as Worrell gets the nose out front going into one. No quarter asked for, no quarter given, as we've got 18 laps in the books, just about halfway to the first round of green flag pit stops. As, wow, 3-lane change for Wilson, jumping up to the extreme high line.
Yeah, I'm wondering
Looks
if
like
he didn't like the way the rear end of that car felt. Probably got a little too much of a push, shoved him out to the third lane, and he'll drop like a brick.
Well, the good news is he's got Marconi and Papp right there, trying to make something happen as Worrell tries to make a run on Kessler with Papp pushing him, as Kessler just protecting that low line like it was his firstborn child. Latham Joyner in his debut race with the series currently sits in the number 2 spot, and one of the guys that is in danger of not making the cut, Zishan Dura right there as well in the 10. So something to be real mindful of as we're moving forward here is who's in, who's out, who's in danger, and who's going to be in a must-win situation going into the Roval next week. Because Cliff, I don't know about you. A, I hate that track, and B, I definitely don't want that track to decide whether or not I move on to the round of 8.
Yeah, I'm C, all of the above. I'm not a huge fan of running a stock car around a road course. But you know, it does give some exciting racing, which is great. But it's definitely, as I said in the beginning, a wrench in the spokes. That's not something I would want to see on the schedule if I were the driver. But you know, I say that, but half of these guys might love road courses. I don't really know. But it's definitely gonna it creates a whole different mindset in the playoffs when you go to a road course. Not your typical oval. You got to go into it with different fuel strategies, so it's stressful with those differences. And then you just got to go out and run a track that you might know. Oh, we got a wreck. 9 going around. Connor Trafari is going to go around, and another was involved, but not sure who that was yet.
Well, that kind of started in the middle of 4.
I think Jovan Cherry possibly involved.
Well, it started in the middle of 4 when the 3 caught the apron. Marconi was trying to recover as well. May have been a little bit of net code for the 12, but the 3 just hooked it, and it looked like Kessler. Unfortunately, there's usually a rule when you're on a team of try not to kill each other, but when you do, make sure it's a Sports Center highlight. Yeah, that was kind of a 0 for both as far as the boys from Nick Kessler Racing go, as Kessler was looking in his rearview mirror to see what was going on with the 3, and just unfortunately caught his teammate in the left rear, and around goes Trafari. Looks like Marconi may have caught a piece of that one as well. A little bit of damage on the front of the number 12 there, but yeah, it brings out caution number 1, and we're about 3/4 of the way through a fuel run right now, so I would expect. Go ahead.
I was gonna say Marconi actually made it through there, or it looked it from the replay. I'm to point that out. Everybody's gonna come down pit road. I think this will. Well, I'll defer to you, Tony. But how do you feel about pitting on lap 22 and going the rest of the way?
Well, you're not going the rest of the way.
All right, that settles that.
Okay, so actually, what I just looked from another view. Marconi was getting the wiggles. He got into Kessler and turned Kessler up the track into Trafari. And then, according to the high-speed drone, Marconi caught Trafari right in the rear axle to continue spinning him around. So there is just a slight bit of damage on the number 12 right now, as it looks like, yes, we did get wholesale pit stops that time, except for the number 90 and Nick Wing, who decided to stay out.
Yeah, Nick Wing. Doesn't really need any bonus points. Probably just looking for track position. Thinking maybe there's going to be another caution that's going to fly soon after this one and then come in. Maybe wants to make it a one-stop race here. Probably a smart move. I mean, we know tires aren't going to be a huge factor. We've only run 20. I say only, but 22 laps out there. I think I might have opted to do the same, but I'm up here in the booth. I'm not driving the car, so I don't know exactly what I do in the moment. But let's see how that plays out for Nick Wing, driving that number 90 Toyota. But let's see if he decides to change his mind and come down now.
Well, he's going to have to hope for a quick caution, because we're not that far away from seeing green flag pit stops, or weren't that far away, I should say. But guys spending a little bit of an extended time on pit road to get some damage fixed. Kessler in the 4, the 3 of Latham Joyner, Shane Newens, Chris Worrell, Greg Marconi, Connor Trafari, Jovan Cherry, all doing a little bit of extended work on their cars to try to not burn the fast repair this early, because it's super speedway racing. There's going to be another one.
So Nick Wing does
there's
end
your
up
answer.
coming down.
There's your answer. Wanted to steal a lap lead there, which unfortunately I don't think. Yeah, Nick 19th in points currently. But it would be something if one of the non-chase contenders could steal it tonight.
Oh, absolutely, and that's probably what's mainly on their mind, or would be at least on mine. Is if I'm not going out for a playoff contention win, I'm just going out for a win. That's I'm not going to leave anything on the table here for this season. If it's almost over, quote unquote, for a championship for me, I'm going for wins from here on out. But I kind of wanted to point out and what I think that I would have done in his situation. And I think it makes sense for me because I like to ride around the back of this place. I like to be behind the wrecks and try to practice avoiding wrecks when they do happen. And I think coming in, staying out for the first round, and then coming into an empty pit road and getting my services done, then coming around and starting at the tail end of the field, I think is a pretty good strategy at this point in the race.
Very much so. As the lights are out on the Chevy Silverado pace truck, the official pace truck of iRacing, Decker and Pap going to bring us back down to green as the field worked its way through the 3-4 complex. Decker, Pap, Dura, McFadden, Wilson, Kessler, Joyner, Newens, Marconi, and Trifari rounding out your top 10. So getting ready to put lap 24 in the books of 90. Everybody's got 4 fresh tires and a fresh tank of Go Fast. So look for these guys to pit somewhere around lap 55 to 60 moving forward as the pace truck is in. And Decker has the button in the low lane in the 28.
Wait for it. Wait for it.
They get into the making power zone, pull the trigger, and we are back underway. And Pap going to get credited with leading that lap because he got a better jump than Decker did. Now, the one thing to keep in mind, this league, all restarts are on the green flag. We've seen in some other leagues where as soon as the pace vehicle leaves the racing surface, you can pull the trigger. These guys have to wait for that green to come out. As Decker getting a great shove from Dura going down the back straightaway for the lead. Pap in no man's land right now. Absolutely zero help, but here comes the cavalry as Nick Kessler and Connor Trifari making their way to his back bumper to try to make something happen in that second lane as Chris Worrell jumps up to the extreme outside. Kessler goes to the low side and abandons Pap as we've got a freight train on the low lane, Cliff.
That 10 of Dura, we saw him in third pretty steadily and now worked his way up to second, but he's got a line right above him in the middle lane coming with the 501 Brandon Wilson. Gonna come fight for the lead side by side with the 28 of Decker as the 10 will dive down to the apron there. Probably did not have a choice. Car getting a little bit swirly. They'll get it gathered back up here down the back stretch. That'll spread things out just a little bit as they're nose to tail for the top 5 cars here. Brandon Wilson leading that charge. Latham Joyner behind him in the 3.
Absolutely. Joyner being impressive right now in his debut with this league as Wilson, Joyner, Decker, Marconi, and Kessler as Decker and Marconi jump up to that second lane to try to make something happen. They're going to bring the Nervitudes driver of Joe Gautier with them in the 67.
And they're mounting a charge.
Absolutely. They're trying to make something happen right now. Now, all 3 of those guys on that second lane are no strangers to winning on super speedways, as all 3 of them do have wins under their belt this past season. As looks like Marconi going to get shuffled out as here comes Dura and Worrell to get onto the freight train on that second lane.
Well, Gauthier got way shuffled out up to that third line by himself. He'll dive in behind the 6 here and try to catch the tail end of that draft. We saw that third line work quite a bit, but not when you're all alone up there.
That was a big move at the front. Brandon Wilson almost got into his teammate coming through the tri-oval, heads up driving for everybody all the way around, and luckily they were. Yeah, they will hang on to it, but luckily, no major contact made, so everybody lives to fight another day. As Wilson jumps up in front of his teammate, That is Marconi in the 12.
You know, all that really did was spread them out a little bit, and they'll just go 3 wide. Fine with us.
Absolutely. As Jason Papp now leading that second lane as Latham Joyner leads the race. And if you're Joyner, you got to feel like a sitting duck as you got those two Nick Kessler Racing teammates right behind you. Kessler pushing you, and Connor Trafari, who looks like he's got most of the damage fixed on that number 9, trying to get back up there to help his team. As Papp getting a great shove right now in that second lane from Ryan Decker, trying to make something happen. But the 6 of Worrell's got to get up there, you know, if they're going to have any shot at getting by Joyner. And just like that, Papp with a nose out front as they drag race down the super stretch here at Talladega and into turn number 3.
Oh, the 4 and the 9 get together.
Kessler and Trafari again. We stay green for now, though. It was a big moment going into 3.
Yeah, it looks like they'll stay green. Everybody on the racetrack stays rolling. That'll spread us out pretty good here. The 4 is going to take it down pit road. Nick Kessler. As Jason Papp continues to lead their single
Kessler
file.
blew his engine.
Kessler's going to blow his engine.
No, he blew his engine. That's what caused Trafari to hand grenade him right into the back.
Aha.
I just went back and looked, and from TV1, you can hear that engine blow as, unfortunately, Kessler wasn't paying attention to his gauges and was pushing the daylights out of Joyner, forgot to get the fresh air to the radiator, and just poof, going into 3. And Trafari didn't know what was going on. All he saw was smoke and just pile drove his teammate.
The 4 and the 9 get together. 4 blows his engine. The 5 of Mark McFadden just gets around those 2. Pretty amazing that 9 was able to hold on to it. That's Connor Trafari. He comes way back up the track, and you know, that could have been a lot worse. And the result is we stay green, and unfortunately Nick Kessler goes to the he made it to the pit, so he's back out here with a fresh engine and a fresh car, but the freight train is coming behind him. That was unfortunate for the 4 and the 9, but they are still green, and side by side for the lead up front is the 6 of Chris Worrell and Jason Papp in that 1 car. They've got the 3 of Brandon Wilson pushing, as well as, the 501 of Brandon Wilson pushing, as well as Latham Joyner in the 3 behind them. 10 is in 5th here. Zishan Dura, hopefully I'm getting that one. But then we got a pretty, we got Greg Marconi there, and then a pretty big gap back. Ryan Decker's also up here. Then
right now they're coming up on the lap car of Nick Kessler, so that's going to be something to be mindful of.
Absolutely. Looks like Kessler will get to the bottom, but he's going to have the 10 fall in behind him. Now the 4's got a fresh car there, so no harm in him being up in this pack.
And that's his teammate behind him. Okay. Dura actually drives for Nick Kessler Motorsports, so trying to work as well as he can to help Nick get into that position that should we see another caution, he's going to be back on the lead lap.
Yeah, absolutely. Dura is going to want to push his teammate to the front and keep him out there as long as he can, if he can, which is exactly what they're doing at the moment. They've got that bottom line. That's working out perfectly for the 4 and the 10. Let's see if they can keep it together and keep that 4 go in the right direction and stay ahead of the leaders, and just let that one kind of play out. We don't want to see another caution, but if it does come out, the 4 car there would be the lucky dog and get that wave around. So teammates, you need them, you don't need them. Well, we're looking at it right now, and you could definitely use them here at Talladega. When the going gets tough and you got to get a push out there to the front. But they're going to have to hold off that 3 and the 1 Latham Joyner and Jason Papp, as they're hooked up in that middle line. They're door to door, so it's not going to be easy to keep that 4 out in front of the 3 there.
Absolutely not. As
I'm sorry, yes, that is the 3.
Yeah, it's the 3. Yeah, the 3 is on the lead lap. The 4 is 1 lap down as Papp jumps out of line to make sure he doesn't suffer the same fate after pushing for so long and so hard. Going to jump out, get some fresh air to the radiator, as we now have 3 dudes, racing drivers, nose to tail in that second lane, as Joyner, Worrell, then you've got Papp, Marconi, and the 501 of Brandon Wilson is the caboose. Right now, Ryan Decker looking for some help on that low lane, trying to get back into the draft. Should be able to do it with as big a hole as these guys are punching right now, as Marconi drops down with Papp to go in front of Decker. That's going to bring Decker right back up to the tail end of that low line pack, as there goes Wilson dropping down as well to make sure that they don't lose what they have.
That 4 cars out in front of everybody, but is a lap down. He's getting a good push from the 10, his teammate. They're all lined up nose to tail behind them now. But, we were talking about how these 2-car tandems and what you described as slam drafting, I believe.
Yes.
In the radio, when you hear the 4 blows his engine and he calls it out, what does that do to you instantly? They're definitely more mindful now of their temps and how much slam drafting they're doing, I would imagine.
Well, what slam drafting, it's not, there's bump drafting and then there's slam drafting. Slam drafting is like if you're Ryan Decker right now and you get to the back bumper of Zishan Dura, you're going to have about a 5 to 6 mile an hour advantage. So when you go into his rear bumper, he's going to know it.
Yeah.
Whereas what's going on that top lane with Papp and Worrell, that's a push. And just a little kiss to make sure that your bumpers touch, and you use the power of 2 cars to push them. But slam drafting, it's violent, and it can be very dangerous, and you've got to trust everyone around you if you're going to try it.
Well, I think these guys can definitely trust each other, but Worrell is going to take that lap as him and Greg Marconi got in front of the 4 there and dive down to the bottom. Unfortunately, that 4 not in the position he wants to be anymore. He's going to have to fight to get back up there. That's going to be his main goal now, is just to stay ahead of that 6 car and stay out of trouble at the same time.
Well, the other thing he's going to have to worry about is they are coming up very quickly on the 9 of Connor Trafari, who lost the entirety of the draft, as I believe that's him working through the 1-2 complex in front of this lead pack right now.
Yeah, they're coming fast down the backstretch. They're going to catch him and blow right by him, just getting into 3. So that'll be pretty interesting as they come down to the end of the backstretch. They just get by him pretty safely, but they'll spread out just a little bit. They'll get lined back up. Little out of line there, back at about 4th position. But no harm, no foul, getting by that 9 pretty easily. The 4 is back ahead where he needs to be. But give it a couple turns here, and we'll have a top line lined back up and coming for the lead yet again.
Well, now it's even more important for Kessler to stay out in front of the leader, because that means he's still on the lead lap. And should a caution fly again, that would give his teammate Connor Trafari the lucky dog, instead of the 2 of them trying to fight for the lucky dog. And field getting pretty strung out right now. There is a battle heating up for the 9th spot, as these guys are almost a 12-second gap to this lead pack. That's Javon Cherry leading the way with his teammate Brandon Lowe's right behind him. Mark McFadden, Nick Wing, and Joe Gautier all right there in a freight train. doing what they can, playing nicely right now to make sure that they can try to make up as much time as they can, as they are starting to. They're still losing ground a little bit to that lead pack as Jerry's not making a lot of headway right now, and I dare say everybody's playing a little extra cautious right now after what happened with Kessler hand grenading the engine, pushing. Nobody really wants to push for too hard for too long because they're afraid of what's going to happen there again.
Yeah, I fully agree with that. I think these 5 cars here are just, like you said, not necessarily playing it safe, but being more cautious of the temps. And we're almost halfway here. They know they've got to come down yet again for one last stop. But there's an understanding back here that we're better off in line, and the 5 of us just getting through these next laps and trying to catch up as best we can. Almost a racer's code back there. Not really making any passes, but trying to make up as much ground as they possibly can before the next green flag stop.
Absolutely. As if I'm not mistaken, I just thought, yeah, he is. So better late than never. Connection issues for the 00 Ryan Worley as he's finally out on the track, albeit 39 laps down. Here to do whatever he can to try to help his team, but unfortunately has absolutely no drafting help right now, running in last place right now. But
yeah, he'll be running around there basically alone until he can get up to speed and get a pack to run with. But great to see him out here. You hate to not be able to race due to it looks like he actually might still be having some issues. I'm seeing him blink a little bit, but able to get out here and finally get some laps in. Hopefully he can stay for the rest of the race and enjoy some Talladega racing out here. He obviously won't be in contention, but we came here to race, and that's what he's doing. So happy to have him back out here. His 4 is right where he needs to be.
Absolutely. But, I really have to give my hats off to that young man driving the 00. Ryan Worley using campus internet at his in his dorm at school to join us for these races. So
wow.
Anybody that's been on a college campus knows just how reliable the ISP is on those things. I'd rather trust anything that comes out of a politician's mouth than the internet connection on a college campus. But still, Ryan trudging along. He actually did make the round of 12, but because he knew the connection issues were what they were, he relinquished that position and said, you know what, I'm going to let somebody that could possibly go for it.
Well, that's huge. Giving up a position. No one wants to do that.
No, but, absolutely not. Absolutely not. But, a devout Christian, knowing that, it was the right thing to do in this situation. What's that on the backstretch?
That is a good question.
That is Worley parked in the middle of the super stretch. Has just actually pulled over trying to get the connection figured out.
Okay.
Getting back up to speed now.
Yeah, he is still rolling, so that won't cause a caution.
Those guys flashed by him like it was stopped.
Probably one of the biggest reasons he pulled way off, just to let them get by.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, as young as that man is, gentleman racer through and through. So not a bad word to say about that kid.
Well, Tony,
other than I wish he had a better internet connection.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I was just gonna say we're about halfway. We might as well take a quick break here. We'll go side by side so you don't miss any of the action. But keep it tuned on the small screen in the corner as this 4 gets a push from the 6. We'll be right back. And we're back from that side-by-side. I do apologize for the technical difficulties. I told you you wouldn't miss any of the action and you couldn't see any of it. So we'll stay back here live at the racetrack. We won't go away again until I get that sorted out for next week. But nothing much has changed here. The 4 still out trying to stay ahead of the leaders, but the 3 and the 501 on that top side have something to say about it.
Yeah, absolutely. Is Joyner really trying to make something happen? He's got Jason Papp in tow as Brandon Wilson dives out of the way. Wasn't happy leading that pack. But being as we are at Talladega, and they did run that race earlier today after it got rained out yesterday, do need to give a huge congratulations to driver Bubba Wallace, driving the number 27 there.
23.
23. He is 27 for MJ Motorsports. Becoming the first African American driver to win a NASCAR Cup Series race since 1963. So he's in elite company here, because the only other African American driver to do so is NASCAR Hall of Fame member Wendell Scott. So I mean, you're in pretty elite company when you could do something like that. But I dare say that Bubba Wallace is far overdue to get his first win. He finally got it today, so congratulations to Bubba and his entire team.
Yeah, it was a long time coming for sure. I was absolutely happy to hear that he won. Unfortunately I was unable to watch it, but I got the word, and yeah, my hats go off to that whole team as well.
Absolutely. But meanwhile, back here in the Rowdy Energy Cup Series, Chris Worrell glued to the back bumper of Nick Kessler. Now, mind you, the number 4 is 1 lap down, and Worrell now in danger of relinquishing the lead, as here comes Marconi and Decker on the high side. Marconi with the nose out front of Worrell. Give the lap to Marconi, but Kessler still maintaining on that lead lap.
Yeah, Kessler's going to be a little worried, though, because he lost his help from his teammate in the 10. So he's not necessarily out there by himself, but, you know, these front runners are going to opt to help him a little less than they would themselves, I would believe. Taking a look and see what happened to the 10. He's back here with this second group, trying to gather up and get ahead of steam to catch back up to these drivers. We're at lap 50 here, so we should start to see another round of pit stops pretty soon, I would think.
Within the next 10 laps, you're going to see just about everybody who came down back on lap 22 bring it pit side. So, you know, you're about 30 laps, 35 laps. Plus, we had a few caution laps thrown in there for good measure, as Worrell catching the apron, going through 1 and 2. That was a big moment. Luckily, the 501 of Brandon Wilson had it well spotted and stayed off him, so not to bring out another caution, as here comes Marconi to the point on the low side. He brings Decker with him, as Jason Papp trying to use some side draft in that second lane. Worrell jumps up to try to help Papp. And again, we've seen those guys work well together, as Decker with a big wiggle coming off of 4.
Yeah, Papp in that 1 and Worrell in that 6. You said it. They've been working together really well the entire race, whether it's been the 1-6 or the 6-1, whether they've been at the front of the pack where they're at now or at the back. You said it earlier, these guys definitely know how to race here. And it shows, as they're side by side for the lead now, just past halfway here.
Absolutely. And if you're Jason Papp or Brandon Wilson, the cavalry's coming, as Ryan Worley in the 00, has now tagged on to this lead group of cars. Now, Worley has virtually 0 shot at a win tonight, but what he can do is help his team. Papp in an almost must-win situation to go on to the round of 8. Wilson in an almost must-win situation to go on to the round of 8. So if one of those two guys can win, is Marconi and Pap in lockstep right now on the low side. And again, those two guys working well together. They are teammates at Dudes Racing, and they're communicating about as well as they can. As Marconi ducks out to try to get some clean air to the radiator, and it looks like they're coming up to lap Connor Trafari one more time.
I was trying to see who that was. You're right. That is Connor Trafari. Yeah, they're gonna catch him again. Put him another lap down. That's Joyner and Worrell leading this pack. They're gonna lead right by him. There's definitely no jumping into a line of cars coming through the corners. All you can really do, as you see, is the 9 pray and hang on to that yellow line. He'll jump in the back and hope to catch some of this tail end of this draft and get back with this pack.
Now, hoping for it. Bad news, though. Shane Newens in the 98, and we're under caution. Looks like Wing and Lowe's getting into it. Oh.
There it is. There, Wing getting turned. Let's
get
another look at it.
Now that was Wing turning Lowe's and McFadden turning Wing. And Mark McFadden now driving a pavement modified. But yeah, that started with a bump draft gone wrong going into 1. Nick Wing unfortunately got into the back bumper of the 25 of Lowe's. And actually, I don't think he got into him. It looks like he may have just taken all the air off his spoiler. Oh, no, he got into him. No, he definitely got into him, son. But
well, that's gonna bring out the caution, and that's gonna take care of our pit stops, I would imagine.
Yes.
We'll probably see the whole field come down, get fresh tires and a full tank of fuel, or at least enough to make it to the end here.
Good news if you're the likes of Joe Gautier, Zishan Dura, Javon Cherry, and those guys that were in that second group. The good news is now you're going to be with that front pack, as yes, we are seeing wholesale pit stops right now. But McFadden, Wang, Lowe's, those guys are all going to have to burn their quick repair to get those heavily damaged race cars back in tip-top shape if they're going to ever have a hopes of trying to run for the win here tonight.
Just about everybody coming down the pit road, including here the 5 of Mark McFadden. I think the only car out there still is Nick Kessler,
because he just got the free pass to get back on the lead lap. So good news if you're a Nick Kessler fan, he's now back in contention, folks.
So he was able to hang out there until the caution came out up towards the front. Was he just the first car 1 lap down?
He
was he out in front of the leaders?
No, he was the first car 1 lap down, because if he wasn't, that would have given the free pass to Shane Newens. Kessler was about 4th in line when that caution came out. So the next car 1 lap down is going to be the lone Aussie in the field. That is the 98 of Shane Newens. And again, I keep referring to the Friday night series because that's basically, what we've seen with this car and this crop of drivers. The vast majority of them also run in the Friday night series, which is solely super speedway. So they use both versions of Daytona that we have received from the iRacing servers, the Legacy Daytona and the latest repave, and Talladega. So those 3 tracks, cycling in and out with, a different car every couple of weeks. And we just saw them use this Xfinity car just a couple of weeks back. So, we know that most of these guys know how to get it done. As a matter of fact, I believe Gautier won here at Talladega in this car the last time we used it. So keep your eye definitely on the number 67. Uh, but again, anybody in the field on the lead lap, anyways, could pull this off tonight as Latham Joyner winning the battle off pit road, and it looks like everybody took 4 in fuel. Ryan Decker and Joe Gautier ducking down pit road, as well as Ryan Worley, to try to get it just a tick off sequence as far as fuel mileage goes, because unfortunately, I don't think you can make it from here.
Oh no.
So we were working lap 57 of 90, and a full tank of fuel between 30 and 35 laps. So,
oh well, Tony, I'm crumpling up my paper and throwing away my strategy.
if you can save fuel by letting somebody else lead this piece, and you're running 3/4 throttle or somewhere around in that general vicinity behind them, if you can save fuel, as Latham Joyner deciding to throw the cone at Jason Papp down the back straightaway. But anyways, if you can save fuel, you can probably make it to the natural finish of the race should we only go 90 laps. But if we go into overtime, you're up a creek without a paddle.
Yeah, and the way we've seen these guys racing for the lead throughout this entire race, I'm thinking they're going to fight it out right to the end. So the chances of getting a late caution there are pretty high. You always got to take that into account. You're right.
Well, that's the other thing, too. It again, meant referencing the Friday night series. I believe we've only had one race this season not go into overtime.
Okay.
So it's a good news, bad news kind of situation. And are my eyes deceiving me, or is Mark McFadden not burned his fast repair? He's still driving a pavement modified.
Yeah, he's still got no front end on that bad boy, that number 5 of McFadden. Sitting here in 6th or 5th or 6th, shuffling back and forth. He is sitting 6th on that outside line, so he's got a good opportunity at it. Let's see what having no nose out here at Talladega can do for you.
Put you a lap down quickly.
Yeah, he's gonna have not much of an aero advantage here. The green will fly.
That was that could have ended poorly, as Latham Joyner was a little bit out in front of the 12 of Marconi coming to the green. Jason Papp getting a great restart on that second lane, as well as Brandon Wilson, as Joyner had to check up just a little bit, and everybody behind him almost just pile drove him in the back. But heads up driving.
McFadden's leading that top line without a front clip. He's got the 10 right behind him. I'm wondering if they don't realize that he doesn't have a front bumper, because it looks like he's kind of dragging the 10 back as he'll jump out of the way there, probably letting the 10 know he does still have some damage.
They just told him, hey bud, you're missing your nose piece.
Yeah.
So yeah. Definitely not something you want to hear. Whoa, Kessler almost getting into Gautier. That is your battle for 7th right now, as Kessler went to go jump up behind his teammates, as we've got an all Nick Kessler middle lane right now. 2 dudes racing drivers leading this piece. It's Jason Papp and Brandon Wilson on the low side. They've got the rookie Latham Joyner right behind them, as yikes. Papp jumps up to try to block that second lane, almost getting into Connor Trafari.
Yeah, Trafari will take him up to the top side to get around that, and it works out for them, as Trafari is now getting a push out in front of the leaders. He is a lap down at least.
Trafari is 2 laps down.
Side by side with the 501 here of Brandon Wilson, who is leading this thing. Getting a nice push from the 3 behind him, sitting comfortable, but that middle line there with those team cars is something to worry about.
Absolutely, as Trifari was trying to pull his teammate Zishan Dura to the lead, doing it quite effectively, as Kessler now behind his teammate Dura. And, this is something to be mindful of, especially if you're driver of the 4. You don't have that fast repair anymore, and you really got to keep an eye on your temp gauges.
And they were just 3 wide up there with Ryan Worley working that top side with the 6 behind him. Worley blinking a little bit due to his internet connection, but was able to stay up in that 3rd line. And we are seeing a almost 4 wide here. Gaggle of cars coming across the line.
Dura jumped out because Kessler probably told him, hey, I'm getting a little warm here. So Dura doing the nice teammate thing, jumping out of line to let Kessler get that cool air to his radiator. And here comes the 25 of Brandon Lowe's. Burn the fast repair all over the back bumper of Jason Papp right now, trying to make that outside lane work, as Kessler with the nose out front going down the front straightaway. Now, mind you, that's his teammate on the low side as Papp jumps down in front of Trifari. Papp with an amazing run.
Oh, the 25 gets a little squirrely, ends up, the 25 and the 4 are going to get together. The 4 goes up into the air. We got the big one here, folks.
Oh, my Lanta.
I was just about to start giving the 4 giant props for blowing an engine earlier, getting that fast repair and coming to lead this thing. And he's going to get together there with, I believe, the 25 of Brandon Lowe's.
That's dirty pool.
Uh-oh.
Take a look at what the blimp picked up on that one. Papp gave the 25 of Lowe's, the old Spanish Archer coming off a 4, the old elbow, and up the track Lowe's went, eats the safer barrier, takes Kessler with him, and a whole gaggle of cars. It looks like the 28 of Decker was able to get through there. And everybody else, at least superficial contact.
Yeah, there were a whole host of cars just doing pirouettes through the lawn there of the front stretch.
Go watch that from the in-car Javon Cherry.
Don't mind if I do.
Holy cow.
Let's go back a little further than I have been here.
Yeah, the 48 coming through the infield is Ryan Worley spinning down and Cherry just missing him.
The action happening outside near the wall. We're on board with the 48 of Cherry here. Right behind the 12, he's got a whole bunch of cars going every which way. Just gonna miss the 25 here. Gonna try to keep it straight. Can he?
It's like the parting of the Red Sea for Cherry.
Yeah, he ends up keeping it straight here. 2 through the grass there.
Holy
Great
cow.
driving there by the 48. Gets a slow clap right there.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, that was heads up. And, I mean, that's one of the reasons why in the regular season, Javon Cherry won 8 races in 20 starts.
Wow.
Yeah. So, Jason Papp, Ryan Decker, and Nick Wing all electing to stay out. The rest of the field, either by choice or by necessity, bringing it down pit road. Most of them having to burn their fast repair. And I believe Mark McFadden, yes, Mark McFadden does have a nose piece on that Ford Mustang again. So he has an intact race car. He is still on the lead lap. And wow.
Excellent. Yeah, get that reset button. He's going to put that Blizzard, Summer Blizzard DQ car hopefully back towards the front here. And I was just pulling his driver info up here. This is one you were talking about who is age 73. So unbelievable, awesome job out here, running with these young bucks, so they speak.
Well, again, happy belated birthday to Mark McFadden. We did miss it the last time we saw him on track. And just last week, he won a 4-cylinder super stock race at his home track. I believe that's his third of the season so far in the real world. So hats off to Mark McFadden. Uh, you know, I wish I had half his energy, and I'm only about half his age.
Yeah, absolutely. Looks like we'll have at least one car, if not 2 or 3, coming down to continue to get some repairs here. Nicholas Wing, Jovan Cherry, Brandon Lowe's among
And Brandon Wilson, too.
Thank you. Right behind them as well, Brandon Wilson. So that's 4 coming down to get some extra repair done. Joyner and Kessler have both been on pit road for a good amount of time, getting some substantial damage fixed up. Unfortunate night for Nick Kessler, blowing an engine early in this race, working his way all the way back to the front, fighting for that lucky dog position, and then getting back to the front and leading this thing, and unfortunately getting into some trouble here at Talladega, and will possibly end his night.
Well, see, this is going to put Kessler behind the 8 ball going into next week's race at the Roval. Currently sitting just outside the cut line coming into tonight. He's going to be in deep doo-doo going into that Roval, and I'm sure Nick will be one of the first ones to tell you he's not a road course ringer by any means. Can he hustle a car around a road course? Sure, all these guys can. But when you're now in a must-win situation to get onto the round of 8, that's not gonna be bueno.
No.
As coming right now, outside of the cut line, you got Kessler, Ryan Decker, and Brandon Wilson. Well, Decker got caught up in that mess. Lowe's got caught up in that mess. Kessler and Decker and Wilson all got caught up in that melee there. So, bad news for the 3 of Latham Joyner. He forgot to check his fast repair, and he is going to be on pit road for quite a while.
That'll deal the deal for that team, unfortunately, but the pace truck is off. We'll go back to green flag racing here in a moment. Pap and Decker are going to take us down to it. McFadden, Gauthier, your 3rd and 4th position driver. You got McConey and Worrell behind them, 5th and 6th. This could be the last leg of the race. Do not go away. You don't want to miss any more of this action. These drivers hold off. Green flag flies.
And I do need to thank Miss Sally Hammond, who is watching here, about Mark McFadden winning his 3rd feature event of the season. Agassi, I hope I'm pronouncing this right, and Sally, correct me if I'm wrong. Agassi, British Columbia, won the battle and won the war for the season, coming home with the series finale championship. So, not just knowing how to do it in the Sims, but able to get it done in the real world too. Driving that beautifully prepared Nissan that he drives in the 4-cylinder Superstock class at his local track. So yeah, hats off to him.
Well, despite having no front clip, running a modified just a moment ago, he's now getting a push to the lead from the 6 of Chris Worrell. And they're side by side, door to door, fighting for the lead here.
Absolutely. That's Pap and Decker on the low side, McFadden and Worrell on the high side. And they've got Connor Tripari for some help up there as drag race down the back straightaway. Pap with a nose out front going into 3. Decker shoving the daylights out of him right now. as Worrell glued to the back bumper of the 5 of McFadden, working their way out of turn number 4. Pap still with about a car length gap. That battle for the lead, hot and heavy right now. But here comes McFadden with a run on the high side. Nose out front for McFadden coming into the start-finish line. Give the lap to McFadden.
That's exactly what I was going to say. As he gets the shove to the front, he'll dive down to the bottom now in front of the 1. That'll leave the top open for Chris Worrell in the 6. He's got Pap and Decker there behind them, fighting together for 2nd and 3rd. They come down the ultra long backstretch. Love that view there. Shows you just how long it is. We got 24 laps to go here, Tony. Connor Trafari here out front in the 9 is laps down, able to stay out in front of the 9, in front of the 5 of McFadden here on the bottom side.
The race for the lead is between the 5 and the 6. That's Worrell on the high side, McFadden on the low side. McFadden getting some help from Decker in the 28. Give the lap to Worrell. Bonus point for the 6 finally. As McFadden's another one of those guys that he's in danger. He needs some good point finishes the next couple of weeks to punch his ticket to get him into the round of 8. And, you know, we've seen in other series, McFadden knows how to work a road course, but the Roval, it's not your normal road course. I mean, those sausage curbs on the inside of some of those corners, they're instant death if you so much as look at them funny.
Yeah, that's scary. That's some scary stuff. You take the wrong line into there and you put the car in the wrong spot, you can not only you're gonna blow your corner, but you can do some substantial damage to your car just by driving over them in some instances. So you don't want to make the wrong decision and take the line too shallow, hit those curbs. I mean, you're right. It could kill you if you look at it funny.
Plus, you got that giant concrete wall going into turn 1. That's instant death on its own. As Ryan Decker taking over the lead, Joe Gautier trying to make something happen on the high side. Dura right now on the low side with Decker. Gautier has Pap with him.
3 wide down the backstretch. The 9 in the
3
middle.
Wide, and they're putting Connor Trafari in the sucker hole.
Unfortunately, he's got McFadden behind him, and I think McFadden was trying to get out from around the 9, knowing that he's laps down. And unfortunately got sucked back there a little bit.
Yeah, unfortunately, but, you know, heads up driving, not getting into the 9, not getting into anybody around him, able to keep it on the low side as Decker going to lead him around for another lap as Gautier trying to make a charge with Trafari on the high side, and Trafari just abandons the 67 of Gautier.
He'll jump right in behind the 10 now and suck right up into him, start to push that middle line. But they'll get Marconi jumping up in front of them. Marconi will now take that center line. And the 10 of Dura will take the lead here on that high side, but it's not going to last very long as that bottom line is shorter around.
It's time for some good news, bad news. Good news, if you're Gisarn Dura, you got a teammate behind you helping push you as we are going to be 20 to go this time across the stripe. Bad news, Greg Marconi on the low side also has a teammate in tow. And we know Ryan Worley's not going to be racing for the win here tonight due to connection issues, but he can play spoiler and help Greg Marconi steal this one as Jason Papp working with Joe Gautier in that middle lane. That's another one of Marconi and Worley's teammates there trying to make something happen as they throw it down the back straightaway. Gautier with a nose out front, Papp in tow. Gautier drops down to the low side. Now it's Papp and Worrell in that middle lane or high lane now, and they've got Connor Trafari in tow.
Gautier and Pipes fighting side by side as they come down the front stretch. The 9 of Trafari there, the third in line of the top, or third car in line of the top line, is laps down, but able to stay up here with these front runners. I'll tell you, you can tell this race is within 20 laps to go now. These guys have pulled out all the stops. They're racing their hearts out right now, just like they were towards the beginning of this race. I think we're going to see a little bit more, or a little more aggressive bumping and shoving here down the ever long backstretch as these laps start to tick off. And this one's going to come to an end before you know it.
Absolutely, as they are coming up quickly on the lap car. That is the 3 of Latham Joyner, who, after 9.5 minutes on pit road, finally got the release to go back out on track. Zero drafting help. He's about 20 miles an hour off pace right now, as these guys are just screaming around this piece at almost 195 miles an hour. And unfortunately for Joyner, 175 is about all he's going to be able to do on his lonesome, as Pap and Gautier trying to make it happen right now. Both of them racing for their prospective playoff lives at this moment in time. Both of them in a just about must-win situation to move on to the round of 8.
Joyner's going to take that high line and let all these cars freight train by him safely below them on the low line and that middle line. You saw the rate of speed, the difference, and how fast that freight train caught him. The best thing you can do is just get up out of the way. There's definitely no getting in front of them or running as fast as they are. The best you can hope for in that situation, jump in behind them, catch that tail end of the draft.
Which he seems to be doing.
And hang on for the ride, as I like to say.
Absolutely. But hats off to that young man, is, doing the right thing, especially in your first race. You know you're a couple laps down to begin with, but doing the right thing, not wanting to screw up anyone else's race. He was able to grab the draft as he tries to make a third lane right now, and that's how quickly he was able to catch these guys in the draft, back up to speed with the rest of the pack, as that battle up front still hot and heavy between Pap and Gautier. Gautier with a little bit of a wiggle, as Trafari looks like he may have bump drafted just a little too long. And if you're Chris Worrell, you got to be starting to worry about your engine temps, as we are 16 to go this time across the stripe, working lap 75 and 90. Gautier and Pap still in lockstep for the lead of this piece. And it's still anybody's race with 15 laps to go this next time by.
Yeah, it's been a long race, and these cars have been working hard all afternoon. And, temps are up in the high end of things. And now that we're coming to the end of the race here, these guys are going to start pushing it even harder. They're going to start putting a little more on the line, hanging in there and letting the engine get a little harder than they probably would, hoping for that edge. So you could see some more engine failures possible, but I know I'm not lifting up any more than I have to now that there's only, we're within 15 laps to go here now. I'm going all out from here on in.
Absolutely. Give that lap to Gautier, though. But if history is any indication of what these guys can do, you're about 2 laps glued to the bumper of the car in front of you without getting air to the radiator, and you're going to twiff the engine. As Pap jumps up in front of Gautier and makes a third lane as he now picks up the 28 of Decker. Wow, big move from Connor Trafari.
Trafari with the move, and we saw Joyner was also involved up in that third line as well. A couple of cars that are lapped down, running up here with the front pack. 67 and the 1 and the 28 fighting for the top 3 positions here. Oh, the 5's going to slide into the infield, the 10 as well. Dura goes around.
That changes everything. That was McFadden, unfortunately, getting into it with Dura coming through the tri-oval. And had to chase it up the track. Ever so slight looseness in that pack right there. Virtually no air going to the rear spoiler of either car. And just light contact coming through the tri-oval. And around goes Dura, and that changes everything.
Absolutely. The 5 gets through there.
It was just ever so slight light contact. If you back that up a little bit, the 5 got a little wiggle going into the tri-oval and had to chase it up the track. The only problem is Dura was pinching down to try to side draft.
Yeah, you're right. Absolutely. they both run out of space there.
Yeah, you'll see it right here.
Yeah, bad timing there.
There's the wiggle, chases it up the track to keep it straight. Dura is there, and just a little bit of the Spanish Archer, and unfortunately, Dura not able to save it. But heads up driving for everyone around those two guys to not make that a bigger mess than it was. Yeah, just unfortunately, Dura sideways, and the algorithm decided to throw the caution for that one, even though he was well off the racing surface. And we are back under caution number 3 of the night. So here's the question I'm going to pose to you, Cliff. Do you pit here and take tires?
Ooh,
We're going to
excellent.
get the restart with about 10 laps to go.
I know I do. As I said earlier, I like to be at the tail end of these fields. As we see some drivers are coming down now. I think I do. I think I come in, get some fresh tires, and hope to go green from there. And hope to have that fresh rubber to have really the ability to make the moves that I want to make, to go for the open holes and such. But looks like the top 6 had a different idea. So, 7th on back might have shot themselves in the foot, or 7th on back could work together on, a high side run and come for the lead. So I think it's a gamble either way. It's still Talladega. You still got that underlying denominator. And I don't think you can avoid another big one if it happens, really, no matter where you are in the field, of course, depending on where it happens. But yeah, it's a roll of the dice either way, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, the good news is if you're Jason Papp, you're going to be lighter on fuel than just about everyone else in the field. And the last time Papp was last down pit lane was on lap 55. Everybody else in the top 6, last time they were down pit road was lap 62. Or, yeah, 62. And everybody else now coming down here. It looks like 2 tires for Marconi, 4 tires for everyone else that just went down pit road.
McConey's gonna take 2 tires, eh? In a 9th position.
Actually, I take that back. That was fuel only.
Yeah, okay.
Because that was only a 6-second in the box stop. That's not enough time to change. Even if you just changed lefts,
Yeah,
that's not enough time. That's a splash of fuel, because Marconi must think that we're going to be going into overtime, and he wants to make sure he can make it to the end of this thing.
Yeah, I think you're absolutely right on that. You were hitting on it earlier. The Super Speedway series that generally goes into the overtime. We've only got 12 to go. We'll be at what, 10 when we go green. What are the chances they go 10 laps, shootout, clean and green, and we see an amazing finish here. That's kind of what I'm hoping for and counting on. But we'll see if Greg McConey's got a different perception of what's going to happen here towards the end of the race. He would definitely know better than I would.
Let's see. What are the chances that we're going to go 10 laps clean? You ever seen a snowball fight in Rio de Janeiro?
Negative, sir.
You have a better chance of seeing the snowball fight in Rio.
All right, I'll take your word for it.
Which
you would also know better than me.
could possibly happen, considering how well my NFL football team that I root for is doing this season. Hell could freeze over. Who knows?
Could this be the year? Well, we'll see when
we had 4 shots at it prior and didn't do it. So who knows?
Fair enough, fair enough. Well, as they come down the back stretch, they'll get gridded up 2 by 2.
Pap, Gautier, Wilson, Cherry, Newens, Lowe's, Marconi, Worrell, Decker, and Mark McFadden rounding out your top 10. It's about to get ugly, Cliff.
That camera
Fieldwork.
view is ugly.
Go ahead.
That's all.
Field working its way through the 3-4 complex. Pap gonna have the button on the high side. Gautier on the low side is gonna have Javon Cherry in tow. And Cherry has his teammate Brandon Lowe's right behind him. So that could spell disaster for the rest of the team, or the rest of the league, as Jason Pap also has his teammate right behind him. That's Brandon Wilson in the 501. Both those guys in just about a must-win situation. And you know that just about everybody right now in the top 10 would love to win here tonight so they don't have to worry about next week when we go to the Charlotte Roval. Pace truck is in. Field gets the green flag. Pap pulls the trigger. Wilson goes with him. Gautier getting a good push right now on the low lane from Javon Cherry as they haul it off into turn number 1. It's Pap and Gautier for the lead right now.
Yeah, Pap had a little bit of an advantage on that when the green flag came out, and I think it's going to bite him right here as the inside line is going to have a little bit more momentum now coming out of 2 down the backstretch here. The 67 of Joe Gautier there is going to hold on to that lead on that inside line as they come barreling down the backstretch. But the one in the middle line will catch up now as they're side by side for the lead again.
Absolutely. Pap getting a good shove from his teammate with a nose out front. Gautier battling back on the low side. Pap with a great run coming off of 4. Side by side to the stripe. We are going to be 9 to go this time. Gautier now with a nose out front on the low lane. Javon Cherry looking for a hole, trying to figure out how to get by. Cherry, the winningest driver in the regular season with 8 of them. Trying to figure out how he can win here tonight to move on to the round of 8. Not in a dire strait yet, but very close. As Pap now with the nose out front as they bring it down the back straightaway. And that is kind of Jabari on the high side. It looks like he's got his teammate, Zishan Dura, with him.
Oh, trouble.
Whoa!
The 98 and the 6 get together. They almost lose it, but they both stay going the right way. And will stay green. Still 3 wide towards the front.
Absolutely is. I stand corrected. That's Trafari and Latham on the high side. Cherry in the middle, or Cherry still working on the backside of Gautier as Pap now with the nose out front. He and his teammate both have the clear going into 1 if they want to go to the low line. Wilson thinks about it too long, gets a little bit of a wiggle as that was heads up driving that last lap coming down the back straightaway, as it could have ended real poorly for Marconi. Marconi, Newens, and the 6 of
Worrell.
Thank you.
You got it. Trafari and Joyner, the 9 and the 3, making that high side work, but unfortunately laps down, but able to hang on and running 3 wide here up towards the front of the pack. Really up there with the leaders in 2nd and 3rd place, or 3rd and 4th, I should say, as they are 3 wide, 2 rows back here, coming across the line with 7 laps to go.
Pap with the nose out front that time as Gautier still battles back on the low lane. Javon Cherry try to give him all the push he can safely as Mark McFadden currently... And
Three's got to go around.
There it is.
3 and the 10 go together. Dura getting caught up in that as well. Unfortunately, McFadden there also involved.
It looked like it started on the high side.
You were absolutely right on that. You called that. See if we can go back a little bit. Let me bring it back even a little more here.
Oh! That's a cut tire. Latham Joyner just cut a tire coming off a 2 into the safer barrier and just pinballs as Decker saw it coming. He bails down and unfortunately clipped Mark McFadden, and that's going to be game over for Dura, McFadden, and I believe the 28 not doing too healthy either.
Great view from the blimp there.
And that issue that Newens had a couple laps ago ripped the front end off the 98.
Well, that's surely going to shake things up here at the end. You were right. We did not go caution free.
Called it.
I knew it was wishful thinking, but you know, I like to call the possible curveballs. Unfortunately, didn't plan out or pan out for what I was hoping for. But we're still gonna see an exciting finish nonetheless.
Absolutely not. Here's the big question: does Jason Papp have enough fuel to make it? Wow,
That was
there's
almost
a
a mess.
lot of takers going down pit road there. And okay. So if you're a Connor Trafari fan, good news. He just got the free pass to get back on the lead lap.
That is absolutely good news for Connor Trafari fans, and he was fighting hard to get that. I mean, him and the 3 of Latham Joyner before that
Actually,
that wreck happened.
He did not.
Oh, bummer.
He caught a piece of that.
He's
heartbreak.
Yeah, you don't want to hear that.
Yeah, so the free pass goes to the 00 Ryan Worley, being the only lap car who was not a part of that.
That's unfortunate news for the 9. I was saying him and the 3 of Joyner before that caution came out. They were working really hard on that top line, and they were able to run 3 wide with the leader. So they had cars, they had fast cars. Was really hoping that if it did come out, the 9 would be the recipient there. Unfortunately, I mean, hey, what am I talking about? I said the caution wasn't even going to come out, but it did. Unfortunately, the 9 does not get the wave around, gets a piece of that action. So he'll have to sit there a lap down in 13th position. And as you said, Worley will come around and get a lap back. Worley started multiple, almost 60 laps down.
Currently sitting 42 laps in arrears.
All right. So 42 laps down coming out here. Unfortunately, was never a factor, but the 9 could have been. So you really hate to see that. Jason Papp will continue to lead this one. He's got Gauthier in 2nd, Jovan Cherry 3rd, Greg Marconi 4th, and Mark McFadden hangs on to 5th place after that mayhem.
So once again, it's time for some good news, bad news. Good news, we're probably going to get a natural green-white checker finish, as lights should be going out on the pace truck this time by to put 86 laps in the books. Bad news if you're everybody else in the field. Jason Papp has lane choice, and Greg Marconi, currently sitting in 4th position, going to be restarting outside row number 2. Where do you think Papp's going on the restart here? I'll give you 2 guesses, and the first 3 don't count.
Shout out to Chris Land in the chat. He says rain is in the area. That's the bad news.
No.
No, unfortunately, no rain quite yet here on iRacing. I do hear it's coming, but
that has me terrified.
I could care less and don't actually want to see rain out here on a racetrack.
That kind of has me terrified. Well, you're not going to see it on the ovals. That's
of course
going to be instant death. But I've seen enough lower class and even, upper middle. Excuse me. Upper middle class road racing in this simulator there's a lot of people that have difficulty driving on a dry track.
Exactly.
I happen to be one of them, so don't think I'm just throwing shade on everybody else. But you know,
I'm right there with you.
that's gonna get interesting. You know, we're probably going to see situations like we saw when Formula One went to Spa this past season, um, with them doing 2 pace laps and classifying the race. Anyways, though, back to the issues at hand. We are going to get a natural green-white checker finish as we are getting ready to put 87 laps in the books. Jason Papp has the button for the restart. Gautier to his inside. Marconi and Cherry going to restart in row number 2 with Zishan Dura there as well. So a lot of guys here tonight in must-win situations. This is going to get interesting. Field working its way through the tri-oval. Go ahead.
I would say absolutely 3 to go when they come across the line. Not quite a green-white checker, but if we make it to the white flag, the next flag will end it. They're side by side, almost door to door as they take the green. The 67 gets a little bit of an advantage there. Joe Gautier does. The 1 and the 12 on the top side. Papp and McConey gonna look to make that middle side work, but they've got 3 laps here to figure a winner unless we get a caution.
Absolutely. Is Latham Joyner calling it a night, putting it on the hauler. Gautier, though, with the nose out front coming down the back straightaway. Papp getting a great shove from his teammate. You know that Marconi would love nothing better than to put 2 dudes racing cars into the round of 8 after tonight. So neither of them have to worry about next week at the Roval. Dura trying to figure out a way to get around the 2 cars in front of him. Gautier hoping that Cherry can give him the shove he needs to punch his ticket into the next round. 2 laps to go. Popsicle sticks in the air. Papp shows the way. Marconi in tow. You know Marconi is going to be glued to the back bumper of his teammate for the next 2 laps as they go up to block Dura. Dura was trying to make something happen with the 25 on the high side. Go ahead.
Dura wants to make that high side work coming down the backstretch here. Wants to get towards the front here before the corners come up. They're not quite going to get it done. The 28 there, Decker slides up a little bit into the 10 as they come out of 3 and 4.
Trying to kill anything that Dura had with the side draft. Gautier swings it out. No help for the 67. Papp goes up to block him. Marconi on the low side, trying to hold off everybody behind him. Shades of Dale Earnhardt.
White flag is in the air. Next
1
flag
more lap to go.
The 67 comes down into the 6.
Whoa!
3 wide situation here and getting a little swirly in the middle.
That could have been a big moment as right now Decker able to help Papp. Decker tries to swing down in front of Marconi. Run for the 28 on the low side. Worley looks to make it 4 wide. Thinks better of it. Worley into the wall.
Oh, big mess behind the leaders. They'll go 3 wide across the line.
Drag race to the line. That's Papp in the middle. Decker on the low side. Gautier on the high side. Marconi shoving his teammate. Papp's going to win and punch his ticket.
Oh, I forgot up here in the booth about that long front stretch down to the extended start-finish line. Man, that was an amazing finish. Unfortunately, just about the whole field behind them got wrecked. I'm going to see if I can go back and catch some of that.
Yeah, that was kind of ugly.
Yeah, I kind of don't want to, but that's part of my job. Let me go see if I can find out what happened. It's way before here. And it's way before there.
That started with Dura getting shoved up into the wall.
There we go. I'm going to go to the blimp.
By his teammate. Connor, what are you doing, kid?
Gonna get a little bit of a closer look here.
Looks like all the air got taken off a Dura spoiler. He shoots up into the safer barrier. Trafari tags him, goes down into the 6.
Couple of cars on their lid there. More than 1, 2, 3. Oh wow.
Yeah, that was bad.
Well, you know, it's Talladega. It's last lap, last corner. You know, you've got 13, 14 cars going for every position possible. Bound to happen.
Now we do have a GoPro on Mark McFadden's helmet. Can we go back and take a look at what McFadden saw in the,
Yeah, we can absolutely try to do that. Let me do it the unprofessional way here so I can find him. I'm gonna rewind it here a little bit, get it queued up, and then go to an in-car view. See if we get. We'll go slow motion for you here, riding along board of the 5 of McFadden.
I don't think you need to go slow motion, but
All right, here we go.
yeah, that's definitely.
All right, full speed it is. Ah,
Yeah, it's more violent when you're at full speed.
Yeah, absolutely. Wild ride there from McFadden. Definitely not the way he wanted to see this race come to an end.
Yeah, absolutely not. That's definitely a thank God this is a simulator moment. You know, one of those deals where you roll into the infield care center and, well, Doc, last thing I remember was dirt sky, dirt sky, dirt sky, pretty nurse.
Oh, that is a great way to put it. Well, Jason Papp will take the win here tonight. Marconi and Decker, second and third. Now, you were talking about teammates finishing 1-2, and I believe, if I'm not mistaken, they got it done.
Absolutely is. Joining us now, the man who we're going to proclaim as ESBN Driver of the Night after starting 16th in a 16-car field, coming home with the victory and punching his ticket into the round of 8. Congratulations for taking the pressure off your back going into the Roval, Jason Papp.
My daddy won!
Hey, he sure
Okay,
did.
then.
He sure did. Congrats to your dad.
Absolutely is one proud papa there and one proud son of the driver of the number 1. So again, congratulations, Jason Papp.
Thank you. I finally got one. I got to thank Greg for helping me there at the end.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that was fun to watch you guys do it, and we were kind of talking all race long that it would be something if Marconi couldn't win himself to put the pressure on everybody else. I kind of had a feeling that he would love nothing better than to help one of his Dudes Racing teammates get into the round of 8, doing so here tonight. Now, the question is, how difficult was it in traffic here tonight?
In the middle, it was pretty sketchy being in the middle. They were super loose at the beginning of the runs. They were tight getting in the corner, but then it was really loose later on in the run. But if you were in the middle, it got really loose.
Yeah, absolutely. But you know, Jason, you ran up front most of the night here tonight. Pit strategy played to perfection. Were you concerned if we had to go into overtime, though, as far as fuel goes?
No, I still had I had 4.5 gallons left, so I had about 9 laps left over. I would have been good. I liked the track position, and I was trying to save my fast repair in case something happened at the end.
Well, you were one of the few drivers that didn't need to burn said fast repair here tonight, as there was a couple times where all hell broke loose around you.
Yeah, from what I hear, quite a bit of that stuff was net code. Um,
Hey, that's a four.
uh, so yeah, a lot of it was net code, and I just tried to stay out of it. I figured if I was in the front, I have to worry about getting ran over or getting caught up in it.
Absolutely. Well, changing gears, both literally and proverbially, next week we go to what is arguably going to be the most difficult night of cutting heads that we have probably seen in a long time, as you guys go to the Roval for the final round of the round of 12. Your thoughts going into that race now that you don't really need to worry about that race too much.
Well, I talked to Greg and my teammates about it, and I am probably the worst in the league at road courses. I'm not gonna lie. So I'm really happy I don't have to worry about it next week. Like, I'm so relieved right now that I don't have to do that. I'm gonna still come out and you know give it what I can, but I'll probably end up 8 laps down is my prediction for next week.
All right, ladies and gentlemen. So you heard the number thrown out there. Do you want to take the over or the under on Jason Papp next week at the Roval? But Jason, again, masterful job playing the pit strategy to perfection here tonight. Coming home with the victory with a little bit of help from your teammate Greg Marconi. Before we let you go celebrate with your family, is there anybody you need to thank tonight?
I just want to thank our sponsors, Rowdy Energy and Circle B Diecast, and iRacing iFlag, and Butt Kicker and Midwest Motor Customs, and my little boy here for watching me the whole race. Mama's watching, and she's probably mad because he's not in bed because he's got school tomorrow, but it'd be all right.
You gotta let him watch Daddy win.
Yeah, and definitely thanks to my teammates and Greg in particular this evening for helping me win.
All right, Jason. Well, from the looks of it, you've got a brand new good luck charm, so might want to keep him with you when we go into the round of 8.
Absolutely. Next week it's going to look like he's driving it.
Well, there's an idea. Well, you just let him drive it and see what happens.
He'd probably do better than me.
That's what I'm saying. You already threw the number out there that you're probably going to be 8 laps down. I don't think he could do much worse than that. So, but again, Jason, congratulations for your first victory on the season, punching your ticket into the round of 8. We're looking forward to seeing you next week at the Roval. And if I could have you stick around after the broadcast is over, I would like to have a conversation with you.
10-4, gotcha.
Thank you, sir, and good luck next week.
All right, thanks.
So that was our winner, Mr. Jason Papp. And Cliff, I believe you've got the second place finisher who helped Jason to the win, his teammate Greg Marconi.
Absolutely, Greg. Congrats on P2, man. Helping push your teammate to the win and helping seal his deal for the cutoff. That's got to feel pretty good.
Yeah, no, with me being locked in, I knew. I told Brandon and Jason coming in, I said, my priority is to push one of you for the win. Unless one of you guys aren't up front, then I'm going for the win myself. So those last 3 laps, I was doing whatever I could to help keep Jason up front there.
Yeah, for sure. Coming into this thing, leading the points, not having to worry too much, it's got to be a relief for you and your team. So congrats to the P2. Congrats on the team win. We asked Pap, but we'll ask you too. What do you feel going into the Roval next week? What do you think your chances are? I hear you're an all right road racer.
I'm all right. I think I can do okay. I don't mind the Roval. The chicanes are the worst part of that whole thing. But no, I think I can do okay. Certainly having the win already means I can kind of play a little different strategy. Maybe come up with something completely different from the rest of the field. But who knows? We'll see what happens. I'm looking forward to it though.
I am absolutely looking forward to it myself. I don't like to race them, but I do love to watch them, and it'll be a fun race to call. And definitely a wrench in the spoke, so to speak. Well, I've been calling it that all night, and I don't think Tony enjoys me calling it that. But
No,
kind
it
of a
is.
wild card in the playoffs. So it's going to be exciting.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, round two is, essentially the wild card round. I like to think of it with Talladega and a road course tied in there. Anybody can win. So I totally agree. And who knows? Maybe we get another first time winner next week, or we get somebody that points their way in, and we'll see what happens.
Absolutely. Well, we appreciate you having a word with us. Anyone you want to give a shout out to before we send you back to celebrate?
First off, I got to thank the primary sponsor of this car, Maconi Crafting and Designs, which is actually my wife's company. She does everything from t-shirts, stickers, vinyl, signs for front doors. She does everything. I'm glad I could have her company on the car tonight and be able to put it up front. Got to thank, and you can find her stuff on Facebook at Maconi Crafting and Design or maconicraftdesign.etsy.com. And you can order whatever you want from her, see some of her work there. So that's a pleasure to have her company on the car. I thank our league sponsors, Rowdy Energy, Circle B Diecast, iRacing, iFlag, Midwest Motor Customs, Butt Kicker. Thank the guys at Dudes Racing. I love racing with Brandon, Jason, and Ryan. Thank you guys. You guys put on a great show every week. Can't wait to go back and watch it. Yeah, that's let's go on to the Roval. Let's go have some fun.
Heck yeah. All right. Well, we appreciate you. Congrats again, and we'll hope to talk to you again next week.
Sounds good, man. I'll see you guys later.
Now, Greg, before we let you go, correct me if I'm wrong. That's the second time you've had her logo on your car, and the second time you've put it on the podium doing so.
This is the first time it's been on the car.
Yeah,
This is the first time I've run
in this series.
No,
I thought you had it on Friday nights too.
Nope, never had her company on the car, so that's why I'm so glad that I could put it, take it home in P2 in a great finish like this.
Well, it looks like you're going to have to come up with a new paint scheme for your Cup car next week. Possibly a good luck charm for your entire team having that on the car.
Oh yeah, it's already kind of in the works. We'll see. Yeah, for those that watch the Friday series, I'm sure you'll see it there.
All right, Greg. We'll see you next week at the Roval.
See you guys.
So that was our second place finisher, Greg Marconi, and joining us now, a man who needed a good points night tonight, and he got it, coming home P3, Ryan Decker. Can't be too disappointed, all things considered.
I think I needed more than points. I need that win. I'm garbage on road courses, so that's what I needed was that win. But no, I can't be too bummed out. At least I knew going into there that I was either going to push Greg or Jason, one of the two. I mean, because I like working with those guys. So, and then it come down to I had a shot to win, so I had to take it. And then, well, Greg stayed with his teammates, so that's what a teammate's for.
Yeah, absolutely. But I dare say that with a third place finish tonight, that's going to move you above the cut line going into the Roval next week. Now, you said you kind of dreaded that, but we've seen you on road courses before do pretty decent.
That's just because I try to stay out of trouble as much as possible.
That's all you got to do at the Roval.
If I can stay out of trouble, I'll be all right and just not go a lap down, and hopefully I can walk out of there, top 8, top 5, something, and somebody else has a bad day or something like that. Then hopefully I'll be happy. But I mean, from here on, I guess this week's a lot of practice, and to get ready for that Roval. So,
all right. So safe to assume that you're going to be turning laps ad nauseum this week.
Oh yeah.
But getting back to bad luck, that definitely struck your teammate, winner of the regular season, Javon Cherry. Definitely not something either one of you wanted to see, I'm assuming, on that last lap.
Yeah, Javon's he's a good driver. I think these super speedways, it's a luck. It's all about luck and putting yourself in the right position and just kind of staying away from the chaos there for a little bit. But whenever it comes down to 1-2 laps to go, you got to put yourself in it and just take a chance. And hopefully you're in the right lane. And if you're not, well, you're screwed. But if you are, then you got a shot at it. So
All right. Well, again, Ryan, looking forward to seeing what you can do next week. Hopefully, you stay out of trouble, and hopefully, you're able to point your way in, being as you're about as confident as I am on that road course. Is there anybody you need to thank before we let you go?
My family and friends, thanks for and everybody else, watching this broadcast. I love it that we have a good following. I'd like to thank y'all guys for putting this on, Jason and Greg, for putting this league on. The sponsors, Circle B Diecast, Rowdy Energy, iRacing, iFlag, Butt Kicker, and Midwest Motor Customs.
All right, that's gonna about do it. Best of luck to you next week. Looking forward to seeing what you actually can do at the Roval. Best of luck to you, sir, and stay safe.
Thank you. I'm gonna need it.
So that was our third place finisher, Ryan Decker. Cliff, I mean, just an amazing race all night long. We saw a lot of jockeying. We saw a lot of 3 wide and occasionally a 4 wide situation. Didn't see quite as much carnage early on as some people were probably expecting. But, white flag, you're going for it. You've got to win to get in. You know, your thoughts to take away from Talladega here tonight?
Well, it was definitely a good race. I saw just a perfect amount of action and carnage. As race fans, you secretly do enjoy the wreck every now and again. You hate it for the drivers, but it's part of it, and you come out here to see it, especially at Talladega. You know it's coming. Wild card in the playoffs. But it showed that what I saw here tonight is that these drivers mean business, and they're not going to let a large track like Talladega and close racing action slow them down. Wild card or not, they went for it, and I'm really excited to see what they'll do in a Roval. But I saw a lot of talent tonight, and I was glued to my seat, the edge of it, and I had a blast, and I think everybody at home really enjoyed the show as well.
Absolutely is. Right now, we've only got 2 drivers guaranteed to be in the round of 8. That, of course, is Greg Marconi, who won at Vegas last week, and his teammate, Jason Papp, who now moves up from 7th in points to 2nd due to that win. So, not necessarily a must-win situation next week, but it's getting darn close to it. Brandon Lowe's just about has to win to get in. JD Woodward, who wasn't here tonight, definitely has to win to get in next week. Javon Cherry, not having the night he needed, has to win to get in. Connor Trafari, Joe Gautier, Mark McFadden, Shane Newens, Nick Kessler, Ryan Decker, and Brandon Wilson. All those guys, admittedly, will tell you they're not road course ringers. So I think Ryan hit the nail on the head when he said, he's just going to hope to stay out of trouble and not go too many laps down and hopefully get a decent points night out of it. Going into a wild card race like that, that's about all you can hope for, is not have to burn your fast repair.
Yeah, absolutely. So what do you say we go through the results here and get ready for next week?
Absolutely. Of course, coming home with the victory and punching his ticket to the round of 8, Jason Papp, coming home in second. His teammate, who already had punched his ticket, Greg Marconi. So help from the teammate to make sure there's 2 dudes racing drivers in the next round of the playoffs. Ryan Decker coming home in third, decent points night, but he's going to have another one next week if he's going to want to move on. Joe Gautier coming home in fourth. Again, decent points night, but he's going to need to have a similar night next week if he hopes to move on. Zishan Dura in fifth, in almost a must-win situation now. Nick Wing coming home in sixth, so good race for Nick after connection issues early. Javon Cherry, not the night he was hoping for, coming home in seventh. Brandon Lowe's in 8th, Shane Newens 9th, and Brandon Wilson rounding out your top 10 and being scored the last car on the lead lap.
Yeah, having a rough day out here, but still finishing the race. Chris Worrell finishes 11th, 1 lap down. Mark McFadden as well, 1 lap down in the 5 car in 12th position. Connor Trafari in that 9 machine is going to be the last car, finishing 1 lap down in the 13th spot. Latham Joyner in the 3 car finishes 14th, multiple laps down. Nick Kessler as well, 15th position. And Ryan Worley in the 00 finishes 16th, 41 laps down, able to get out there and run some laps, which was great. Happy to see everyone show up today, able to run. And that'll do it for the field. 16 drivers show up, 16 finish. Even though we had a wild one with plenty of action and carnage, we still had an amazing finish, and well worth the day spending here at Talladega watching it with you guys. I appreciate you guys sticking around. And Tony, any last words before we call it a night?
Well, I just want to thank everybody for joining us here tonight. Don't forget to like, favorite, subscribe, and share, and turn on bell notifications so you don't miss a single action this week on the ESPN family of broadcasts. Tomorrow we've got the MX5 or UK Sim Series MX5 Pro Series week 4. That's going to be Jake and Jason at that one. Start time of 2:50 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Then the nightcap is going to be Ben Bruno and myself in the booth for that one. And Cliff, are you with us tomorrow night?
No, sir, I am not with you tomorrow night.
Okay, that'll be yeah, it will be. But anyways, Ben Bruno and I will bring the broadcast to you for that one for the Western States Racing League round 13. That's scheduled to go off at 10:05 Eastern Time. Wednesday night, we have the Sim Racers Edge Alpha Series, round 10 from Twin Ring Motegi. That's at 8:15 start time on that one. And then 10 minutes later, the Pony Express Racing Endurance for Amateurs Series, round number 4 from Sebring. That is scheduled to roll off at 8:25. Thursday night, a single doubleheader as we bring both rounds of the DOB Dirt Night to you. Starting at 9 p.m., they will have the 410 wing sprint cars at Williams Grove. And Friday, I'm not 100% certain what's going on with that yet, but hopefully we'll be able to bring you the Circle B Diecast Super Speedway Series round 11 from Daytona with the trucks. So that is going to about do it for us tonight, ladies and gentlemen. And I just want to remind you that as you walk down the road of life, please don't play in traffic. Good night, and we'll see you next week.